I hope from listening to my story that you understand why children send photos and the pressures around this. I also hope that you talk to your children about the issue and let them know that you're there for support if they ever need it. I'd just moved to a new school after being really badly bullied at my previous school, and so I sort of moved to make a new fresh start away from everything that I'd already known. So when I moved to this new school and I had all these friends and people actually wanting to talk to me and wanting to add me on all these new apps that were coming out, like Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook, I can remember being like amazed that I had all these new followers and actually kind of felt popular for once in my life, which was something that I never thought I'd ever feel. But it was a complete whirlwind that I didn't really know who I was adding a lot of the time. Even though I knew they went to the school, this didn't necessarily mean that I knew them personally or that I was in any of the classes or that I'd even spoken to them before. I started contact with a boy who I knew went to my school in a year above me. During this time we built up a friendship. I felt like I knew quite a lot about him. Obviously my phone is constantly in my hand, so we were messaging at least 4, 5, 6 times an hour, and you do sort of build up trust in that time. And I'd never had friends before, so I wasn't quite sure what trust was. But yeah, after about 2 weeks, he started asking me to send photos that weren't just selfies, they were intimate photos of myself. And at first I started to say no, because I didn't feel comfortable with that. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. But I looked around me and I saw all my friends talking about it at school and how they were sending photos to boys, and so it was sort of normalised. As I said, my phone's always in my hand, the pressure was constant, he was texting me every single day, asking for it, and it just didn't stop. So eventually I gave in to the pressure and I did send a photo of myself with no clothes on, and it's a photo that I wouldn't want my family or my friends to see. After sort of an hour, I got a Snapchat back from him, and when I saw I had a Snapchat, I was like, oh yes, finally he's replied. Maybe he's just been busy, or maybe he opened it and his phone died. I didn't really know what was happening, but I was just happy to see that he had eventually replied to me. But when I opened it up, it turned out that it wasn't him. Instead, it was a face of a girl that was in my year group that I knew, and it just sort of said, ha ha, I've got you. First sort of thing that went through my head was confusion. Like, has she got his phone somehow, or has he lost it? But the penny sort of dropped that she had been using his account, but I just couldn't think about anything else. I can remember things being on TV, like one of my favourite programmes, and it just being a complete blur and just being blinded to the world around me. I just felt completely ashamed and embarrassed that someone who I didn't intend to see the photo had seen it. So I thought the best thing to do would be to turn my phone off, to ignore her, ignore the social media world, turn it off and go to sleep and hope the problem went away. But that's not really what happens in the social media world. So the next day I got to school and I was absolutely dreading going in, but my best friend sort of came and found me and said, look, this has happened. Everybody's seen it. I've seen it. It's all around the school. Everybody's got it on their phone. Like, what have you done? And why have you done this? And why didn't you sort of tell me last night? I just felt like everybody's eyes were on me. Everybody was staring at me. I was just so paranoid that everybody was talking about me. And I can remember just being in the school toilets, like crying my eyes out. And my friend just dragging me by my hand to go see my tutor, and I just got to my tutor and poured my heart out and told her everything that had happened because I just couldn't deal with it. At that point, my tutor sort of looked at me really shocked and sort of just shook her head and was like, oh, Megan, why have you done this? Like, sort of like disappointed, but caring disappointed. At that moment when I was sort of in the staff room, I can remember, well, I can't really remember too much of it because my mind sort of had a bit of a blank, but I can just remember being unconsolably crying. I can just remember being sat opposite everyone, and it just felt like everyone was interrogating me and that I was in the wrong and I was the one that had done something really bad, but I just had been stupid. Over time, I sort of used Childline's online chat service to help me through stuff, because I needed to speak to someone that sort of didn't know, and I'd just go online and speak to Childline, and they gave me some advice and they talked stuff through, and I just felt like if a problem was shared with even them, then it's a problem halved. So to sort of get myself through it, I just focused on the friends that I knew were true to me and the people that had been there for me and didn't judge me after the incident happened. Doing anything that I could to distract myself and also better myself after that, and just try and work hard and create stuff that I'm proud of after doing something that I wasn't so proud of. Parents, make sure your children know they can talk to you about these sorts of issues. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it, imagine how they feel. You need to support them.